chaotic. We usually think, we talked about it coming into today, that Miramar oftentimes presents us the chaotic games, but Erangel has delivered.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting day, a lot of intense fights, a lot of teams understanding their position in the leaderboards where they have to go for third parties, they have to go for kills, because otherwise they have no hope of winning this event. So, you know, you come into the second half of this and a lot of the teams understand the leaderboard, they understand the situation, they understand that this is a zero-sum game. There's only so many points available in each lobby.
I'm looking at the leaderboard. Of course, Brazil, UK tied right now. I'm looking at these Brazilian players, and I know that they all have teammates waiting at home for them to come back and join their teams with their waving banners. But I'm not gonna lie to you, this four-man roster in a PCS America 7,
They'd be pretty good.
They would stomp the competition with the way that they're playing right now, and I cannot help but imagine if you are a teammate of any one of these four players waiting for them to come back, there's gonna be a... Are they going to go? Well, obviously. I mean, they're from the same country. They've played together forever.
Barking's a great leader. I think he has the right mentality for this event, not just in his preparation, but in how he talks to the players, how he talks to me, how he talks to everyone. Yeah. The confidence is through the roof, and I love it, personally. I mean, it's just so awesome to see these guys doing well because, again, nobody really kind of had them anywhere near the top.
Lokin out, spotting some of the Turkish players. Turkey and Korea have, while there hasn't been a whole lot of casualties because of it, they have been rubbing shoulder to shoulder for a lot of these rotations, coming out of Chuma, coming out Southside Picado, and now they're doing it here again. I mean, they have learned, I feel like, to distance itself from one another because a team that likes these third-party opportunities is China, and they're coming in right behind Turkey.
Yeah, Korea's happy to kind of shovel Turkey into China's way right now. That's what they're doing. They're kind of
pushed. They don't have lines of sight. They can't really do a lot. While they can help from up above to shoot down, you can see here, and thank you so much, observers. While we're not communicating that much together, you are there on the spot at the second. It's very hard for Inonix and Soul down below to help, because even if they go up there, it's an uphill drive. They have to get the cars out. It's going to take a while, and by the time they get up there, their teammates could be dead. So for now, phase one, all good and dandy.
Yeah.
Come circles, come should we center up in this area more. I want to see them group, and I want to see them group fast.
I agree. I 100% agree with your point. I mean, it's something that I think we saw early on in the tournament that teams were trying to get away with was these splits for long periods of times past C3 that just get brutalized. I mean, the other teams are going to capitalize on it. They're going to recognize the weakness that you are trying to occupy a position with minimal amounts of forces, and they are going to overwhelm that. So I think here, yeah, I'm right with you with Korea, and that hill that is in between the church and that apartment complex or whatever you want to call it. I call it the Liquid compound because Liquid loves that compound on this map. But yeah, it makes it a really tricky position to hold for a 2-2 for a long period of time because of the reasons you mentioned.
Everyone making their way down towards this south side circle. Again, most teams were north, essentially north of Picado or higher. Only a couple of teams down to the southern side. One of the teams out towards the east that both you and I have been following for a long time, at least the players on the team paper than Japan. They won, like with many other teams, feeling things out, but I'm loving the aggression we've seen from the last 2 days.
Yeah, it's just a confidence thing for them. Now, there is somebody trying to go for a Groz out there, but Keenan, none too keen to let that go through. That's Indonesia. I believe that's Teddy or somebody in there. Niall, actually. I'm not sure if he was able to grab it or not with all the pressure coming from multiple directions. This is another part of this circle that it could go to here eventually. Yeah, so I said it's likely to go east, but it could also go north is another likely option. And crates out in the open like that, I mean, there's always going to be people in those hills to your south.
Risk involved. It is a bait crate. That's what I like to call them. It stands there alone, no one around. You go, oh, well, this is mine, right? And all of a sudden, as soon as you go there, oh, that's where the 4 teams were hiding. That's fortunately, no damage comes off it. And I think, honestly, I mean, I don't have the exact number to prove this, but almost 9 minutes in, 0 casualties so far. Given how chaotic Miramar was yesterday, this is a very, very slow schematic start. Again, most teams weren't here. A lot of them has been driving for a while, and we might get into the more chaotic stages now, but it's been a very, very quiet start to the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these team strategies is kind of shifting more towards being patient, waiting for moments to strike all together as a group. And I think going back to Japan, the point you mentioned earlier, I think that's part of what kind of makes them good. They do like to fan out a bit at times, a bit too much for me, but when they do end up starting to fight, like, they've just been confidence through the roof with all of their members working together and things like that. And Kane has really picked it up. I mean, again, him and Shiva have learned so much playing with Americano and Corn on the Donuts. 2 players, if you guys remember GNL last year from, you know, the big events at the end of the year. They were unbelievable unbelievable mechanical players, like Americana Corner nuts. And Shiva and Kane have really picked it up. And I got to say, a lot of times, like, if you look at the leaderboards of the PWS, like, it's not just Americana and Corn up towards the top of the fragging numbers. Kane's up there as well.
Bringing in some of that Korean mindset, Korean play style to a Japanese roster helps not only them, but now they hopefully get to use that when they play with the other two teammates here as well. Wow. Circle as the crowd goes wild. Hard shifts northwest Brazil while they're sitting tight now. I'm sure it's Galucia says, guys, remember this position from yesterday? Yeah, this is ours now. We're going to be sitting here for a good while in Thailand. Honestly, I mean, they were rotating out of the hot northeast, rep all the way west over El Pozo, and they have just been granted a blessing from this circle.
Well, now this is super duper likely to end close to Thailand. I mean, this circle really is going to want to go either north or center. I mean, that's about all it can do with all the mountains that are in the south part of this. So that's, again, why all these teams are over on the east. Everybody kind of expected that. Now it's going to get wild.
And look at the migration. Look at how hard everyone is committing to get to this area. They know how few playable spots there are going to be in this circle, and you want to get them now. RDK spots Micah, takes him out. First team to take casualties, Germany. Again, they've been struggling in this tournament so far, and this just does not help them any further.
All right, well, I mean, those buggies, not fun to drive around in, especially out in the open like that. But the good news here for RDK is it is actually pretty wide open up to the north there. Yeah. Meanwhile, Korea made their way, got grouped up here pretty early. They're going to try to take a cliffside, putting some damage down into Brazil. VHC, though, able to get behind the building, get inside. Let's see how well Brazil can keep their vehicles safe. That compound can be a little tricky.
It can be very dangerous, especially as you're saying, if you lose your vehicles, then you're forced to make a move. You are in the bold, you are in the open, and you are definitely going to be in trouble.
Well, that's what's concerning about that compound is, like, it's hard to get in and out of in the first place, but you have to have good vehicles. Korea, in the meantime, is expecting somebody to be down here, and in fact, it's actually wide open. So there's nobody around, and they're going to get this for free. It's not bad, but again, it has a similar problem to Brazil's compound where unless the circle ends by you, which in Korea's case, it's much more likely to end there, it gets tricky.
To go back to what me and Xenox talked about last game, what I want to see from Korea, especially in a tournament like this, is to be more proactive, to dictate the flow.
I agree.
More. And I feel like playing a compound like that, you're forced to play turtle mentality. Whenever something happens, just pull up those shields and just hunker down. Wait for the storm to blow over. No, you want to be the storm. You want to go out and force teams to adapt to what you do. This time around, playing this compound shows me that's not what they're opting to do in this tournament. And honestly, to me, despite knowing how good they are individually, I think that's part of the reason they aren't further up the leaderboard.
I agree wholeheartedly. And the thing that people have to understand is the decision was made to roll with Lash as the IGL. He's the most experienced IGL on that roster by far. You guys got to go back, 3 years ago to when he was with Element Mystic and others, that he was always known for these extremely late passive. I mean, a lot of the times he always dropped north on both maps with Element Mystic, and they would just wait. They'd hang out on the northern edges of the circles, let everybody else do the fighting. You'll get into those top 8 spots and then see what they could do from there. So Lash is probably the most passive IGL in Korea right now, and that's why you're seeing these results.
Exactly. In the meantime here, Argentina making their movement on the opposite side of the map. Japan trying to make a north side rotation. They saw United Kingdom in front of them. They saw Australia, didn't want a piece of that pie. Issue is now they've wrapped far north. They're on the edge of blue, and they see multiple teams. Shiva, though, and Keen together. Solid damage coming through. They know the tags were there, and they're pulling up on this because they've called it. They called the bluff. Japan being aggressive. I love what I'm seeing, Favors, and they find the knock as well. This is a play. No Japanese team would even dare to do this just a half year ago. But as you say, add a little bit of Korean spice, and this is what you get.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, they set this trap up so well. They catch RDK out on his own, and they are ready to pounce. As soon as they get a decent amount of damage, they recognize there's no other cover fire or return fire. Boom, they hammer down on it, take the point, take a little bit of position. Now, the circle did something very unexpected. I mean, this whole game has been unexpected circle shifts, so I guess we're just going to keep going south.
You know what? I love getting surprised. That is some of the best to me. Issue for this one is, if you look at the map, Sapao, try to jump down for cover. He will have, I'm seeing Cloris making a sprint forward. Will try and go up and get his teammate up. There's no one around them right now. They should be all right, and they haven't found knocks yet, so no one should know. Even if they see the knock on the map, they're not going to be aware of where this happens. Issue is everyone trying to make their way into the east from the north. Either you're going through Chuma or you're wrapping over a hilltop. All these teams that are now pushing into it have zero clue what's awaiting them on the other side. All they can do is think back to previous games, what the teams do. But if you look at this here, let alone the fact that Brazil is playing the Valley, no teams other than Finland really on the west side are playing where they would have in previous games around this area.
Oh, it's a literal Death Valley in there. There's
Yes.
just, you're absolutely right. And not only do they have not any information, there's not much to work with on the inside. I mean, Trimsy here trying to mess with Australia's rotations, but they just kind of saw him, and now they're like, oh, son, you are on your own. And they are just going to barrel down towards him. But Trimsy, good for the first, going to get the flush, maybe. No, they're going to save him, but there is the shot from Finna from behind.
That is a lot more damage than I thought was going to be able to be put out from that. H1 now comes in to try and help as well. Strimsy will fall, but damage is done. Australia wounded. And looks to me like H1 with a nade. Bounces forward a bit too far, but Australia in trouble.
Oh, that fire just a bit too far. Luke 12 able to find a rock to go for the heal. Win going to do the same as well. Luke's going to get it, but he's the last one up for Australia. Meanwhile, it's going to be Thailand who's peppering the smokes, trying to fish for some extra points.
Exactly. I thought that one had Australia. Again, I mean, you got to give credit to Australia despite the fact that it doesn't work out for them. Now here comes the shots on through. Two flushes confirmed. Finds the knock on. So Monty will go down in the end of it. Finna able to find him from a distance. Luke's still alive. And on the other side of things, here we have Thailand fighting off Indonesia. They want to maintain control of the hill. Again, be proactive, be the aggressor. Thailand needs to defend this hill, and they do. Indonesia eliminated as Thailand stands strong on the hilltop.
Yeah, a couple perfect underhanded grenades rolling down the hill, catching some damage. Luke did get Monty up, but that's it. 2 left for the Australian squad. Kickstart the only one for the USA, and it's the Union Jacks of the UK coming in behind this. Kickstart just going to have to bunker down. Yep. I mean, if he comes up over this hill, he's going to have the same problem that H1 did. Finn is just going to shoot him in the back, and well, it's actually Michael this time. So, you know, a nice try here by the USA, but they're just overwhelmed.
Not a whole lot doing that one. Collateral damage for Australia and America, essentially, at the end of things. Not exactly looking any better for Australia, only having the view cover they have here. New circle, Pubg,
okay, there it goes.
hard shift north.
That's what it should
Back
do.
into territory we've been in plenty of times before. Australia says, nope, not gonna do this one. Hard shift down north. Let's go down and just chill as best as we can and hope this tractor grants us all the cover we need. Probably won't. Probably won't.
It doesn't. Usually not. All right, so Vietnam, they're going to lose Haisaki from the overwatch of the Argentinian position.
Exactly. This is Argentina having essentially wrapped the entire circle. They've spent the last 2 circles just in vehicles, essentially, now coming in from the hard south. They were hard north in their loot spot and just wrapped all the way south.
3 rotations gone wrong, Toby.
Exactly. T-Bone thought he had it, not going to happen. He's going to fall. A little more space given to Canada and China now trying to make a wrap north as well, but they're going to be backfilling on this fight.
Oh, this is a great position for China to really hammer down some damage into the UK. Vard trying to drive out and away. T-Bone down and out. Grenades up and over for Michael. Not sure if it caught too much damage, but the UK scrambling to find some kind of defensive position. Canada's going to be decently hot on their heels. The problem is that China's position, they're going to be able to watch a fair amount of this fight.
Exactly. Where does China get in here from? Are they just going to go straight into UK or going to route out towards Canada? Either way, one of the 2 teams will be rewarded from it. Finland maintaining their split for as long as they possibly could, but now realizing the full push from Taipei came through. Smart disengage from the 2 Finns.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you got to do right now, because if you get a little too aggressive, there's a lot of positions that people can see you from. There's a lot of high angles all around this circle, so you got to be pretty careful with your positioning and when you're going to go for those shots. People will punish you pretty quick, just like Xiaolu found out. You know, he thought he had a decent opportunity to go for some damage, gets popped in the head, has to go for the heals. Easy does it, though, and yeah, even trying to get away, he's getting shot in the back. I assume he's going to go for a vehicle back there.
And Xiaolu is very, very much isolated from the rest of the team. He's trying to be the overhead view, but he can't really do that right now. His bike is all the way down there. As you can see, the tire is in the pop. Janko finds Polly. Damage comes through. Crowd goes wild as Thailand continues to dominate from the hilltop up towards the north.
Thailand's looked pretty good today. I mean, they've had China's number too. Oh no, the tire just popped here on Argentina.
What?
Get out the way!
What?
Get out the way! Argentina, they're gonna wreck their own teammate's vehicle. Oh, they're done. They're just out in the open. They're dead to rights. Monty, though, gets taken out by LFP1. That's buying just enough time here. Maybe for somebody. No, Silzen gets knocked as well here, and Argentina all but dead.
Just when you thought things couldn't get worse, they're already in the midst of a suicide rotation, and the car did not make it any easier for them. China, Canada, now fighting one another. Does United Kingdom interact with this or not? I feel like they should. Michael already there, holding the angle. You can see it on your map to the right-hand side as Keenan tries to back down Finn of China. New circle pops. Here we go.
Let's see, kind of centering up here. So Brazil, you know, getting a pretty good circle pop here. LFP1 was out fishing for something in the middle there. Meanwhile, the battle between Canada and China continues, and Keenan there up front took a little bit of damage.
What is LFP doing 200 meters from the compound? I mean, let alone the fact that they've been able to maintain full control of this compound. I'm surprised that no one has made the push on down earlier, but now let's see Ixleft here. Peeking on forward as Canada approaches from the other side.
All right, that's a headshot to kick things off, and that's going to force Keenan back. And Ixleft knows it. He comes over the top, takes a bunch of damage. Shinboy's going to get the knock onto him. Finna trying to reposition to go for the flush, potentially given the opportunity, but ZP puts some damage in him.
Very, very solid hold. Notes that the peak was going to come over eventually, but forcing them back. Flash is now coming through. Xiaobian forced down on his stomach. He's going to be blind at least for a little while longer. I want to see this flank around. Issue is, can they do it? Yes! First one falls, second one does as well. Canada stands strong. China out in 12th place, and this is just not the up-close China we used to see.
No, they look a little bit disorganized. They look like they have slightly different ideas on how they want to play these fights. You can see Ixleft was up over the top a little bit ahead of the rest of the team, not in a position where they could really cover him, particularly after he was knocked. So, you know, the new Happy duo seems to play pretty well together, but Xiaolu and Ixleft seem to have a little bit of trouble kind of fitting in to the new Happy model.
Exactly, it's that split-second miscommunication that will be the death of you, especially when we play at a caliber that we do here. Turkey, United Kingdom, Canada, Thailand, Japan, Finland, all teams that have to find a way into this next circle, but also all teams that have teams scary close to them. Thailand now committing down the hill towards Japan, whereas Finland just on the other side.
All right, Japan trying to prove that they, you know, yesterday wasn't a fluke here. They're going to try to take on potentially a couple different flights. You've got a Groza in the hands of the side seat driver, but no, Belmont with a great rip. Another one, and Japan is gone!
That is what you want to see from Thailand. Do it fast, get it fast, and get the kills down. Hopping over to the other side of the map. Bart finds one, finds two, finds the third with the nade as well. Two teams out in the matter of a second or two.
Just back-to-back perfect grenades from Bard. You love to see it. Turkey has to send it down the hill. Vietnam trying to play defense here on this floor. He's good for one. Wyatt going to be good for another. Glory's goes for the finish. It's an instant wipe for the duo of Vietnam.
2v4, they make it look easy. They hold off strong now. Norins continuing forward. Fights one, fights two. These edge side fights are being dominated by the teams that you thought were going to fall. Belmont over the top, all four from Thailand on their feet, and they continue moving forward.
Oh, you love to see it. You love to see the confidence, but it's going to be sparking from Brazil. That strikes Chinese Taipei in the back as they're trying to finish off Mexi. Mexi going to get the headshot, but it's going to be the drive-by from Mao Rush. It's going to finish him off. Now Thailand makes their push.
They have to push forward, push forward. You know exactly where they are. Lob those nades in there. Get those kills confirmed. First one a bit far. They have to spread up close. First one will fall. Yan Li finds Belmont.
All right, well, Nurin's here trying to save his team, and it's going to be good enough there as JQ comes in to finish off Chinese Taipei. Now you've got to worry about the teams in the center because you're going to have to come down this hill. Thailand has a pretty rough road ahead of them, to be honest. They're going to have to make some pretty impressive maneuvers.
I'm so glad they're spotting Korea. Oh my God, the tax Escalosha is styled in. They're feeling this. We're going to see Thailand double-digit, and for the third game in a row, into placement points as well. They're getting things going, and there you go. 10 kills for Thailand.
Korea was trying to find an angle into this next circle. They have a similar problem that Thailand could be facing here, where they were trying to find some way to get in where they were obscured, and Onyx going to get caught out in the open. And yeah, the Thai
there we go.
Absolutely loving this, as they should. This is the game you want to see. 10 kills already for the home team crowd.
They have the rich down below, but how does Brazil respond to this? Brazil heard the fight between Vietnam and Turkey. They know they still have more threats down south. Thailand should hop down now, play that rich side, and set up shop before all these other teams come in. UK first wants to make a move. Oh, Michael almost run over, but lives with the scare.
Yeah, there's a few crates there as well. Korea trying to get into the circle, but that position is still outside of it, and there's people watching it, hampering that movement. Meanwhile, somehow, some way, Luke 12 still behind this tractor because everybody else has been fighting for the positions on the outside of this circle. And now, you know, Thailand knows that Korea is going to be in their way. They're going to have an opportunity to do some damage on the way in.
as you said, wanting to do as much damage as possible. And you know what? Even though he doesn't get the tags, now he does. The tire pop alone could be all they needed to move further forward. Somehow, as you said, Luke able to actually get into decent placement points, everything considered. But though, there to take him down. UK, I mean, this is just back and forth. UK, Brazil, UK, Brazil. Now UK up to 10 kills again.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a good game for Brazil here. What a shot from Sparking. Belmont as well, and Thailand is ruining Korea's day. It's just Soul left.
Believe me, noise-canceling headsets or not, Thailand is feeling the crowd. They are embracing it, regardless of how this game ends, regardless of what happens as Belmont finds one more, making it 12 for Thailand. The crowd will cheer all day based on this game alone.
Yeah, this could be the game that really gets Thailand going. They have 4 up. They have a decent position in the circle. Yes, Brazil holds the compound on the southern side. The circle shifts away from them. They're going to be in the same problem that everyone else has, where they're out in the open.
Thailand, you cannot hard focus. You cannot hard focus UK over on the other side, because as we're speaking, Brazil is starting to eye their way up north. They have their cars, they have the cover, but they cannot allow for Brazil to make a play on the west side road.
And it's once again Soul for Korea trying to stake out any points that he can. Now, they know he's there, but there's a bit of a rock, and the car is helping as well. So for their side there, that now that vehicle's blown up, and that's going to push Soul out of the open, and the circle is good for Thailand.
I like to think as myself as an unbiased caster, but with the crowd going this
You're allowed to be biased
with
in this
everything
moment.
going, I cannot help but cheering for Norrens and the boys. They just got the circle. If there is a game to win Thailand, this is going to be the one. But you have 2 of the top teams, make that 3 of the top 5 teams going up against you. You have the prio spot, and I feel like the first fight you're going to have to take is to take down the super machines, which are Brazil.
Yeah, and look at the cover that Brazil has from this current position. Now, this is outside the next circle, but there's some trees and other things that they're going to be able to harass the Thai position with, do some early damage, try to see if they can push a little bit further forward. You can see a bit of a reposition coming out. Now, Thailand knows there's still somebody from Korea on the other side. They're keeping eyes on it. And, you know, Thailand's going to have to hit some really good shots to keep kind of their territory safe.
Whether or not they hit those shots, the fact that they're continuing to suppress both Korea and UK, allowing for 2 of their players to focus down towards Brazil, it's all going to come down to who makes the first move. The move is going to be for the field. How does Brazil play this? I would assume to see Brazil play for the center position, but knowing how aggressive they are, I would also imagine them just full speed sending it straight into Thailand. More shots fired now. BHC the one to find it, but Soul, as of all players, the one to find the flush.
Soul, of course, from that angle, still waiting out this as long as he can. And Vard stuck behind that tractor now as they're going to make the move. That's right into Escalisa's sightline. He's doing some decent damage. Sparking in the driver's seat on very low health. But out in the open are 2 members of Brazil right into Norrens' sidelines. How are they still going? They get him back into safety.
How are they still alive? Nate's now coming forward. Watch out. This is far from over. I said there was a way that they would push up that hillside. Brazil playing with no fear in their life. I'm not sure how they managed to stay on their feet, all of them, but this is scary. Brazil has made landfall right below Thailand.
Yeah, exactly, and now they might be able to get a few knocks and buy the time for the reinforcements of VHC and LFP1 to come on in. Solo's got him on the open. It's actually Belmoth who's going to get it. Who's going to get the point out of it? Belmoth able to confirm.
13 kills and counting as the Thai players stand strong. Belmoth does fall down. One more comes in, but Askelusha immediately there with a run. Haven peeks and goes down as well. Just one left. Sparking finds the first one. Still fighting, but barely any HP remaining.
Oh, Escalusia even hit the headshot onto Sparking before Sparking got him, and now they're throwing the utility, trying to get the flush as well here. Norrens thinking about the res, but there's still Soul looming on the backside, using those smokes to slowly work his way up, trying to see if he can take advantage of this fight.
2v1v1. Thailand has a chance to get all their players back on their feet. Sparking is not done yet, though. This is getting dangerous. They managed to get one res in there, but Sparking is pushing forward.
He's insane. He's hitting unbelievable shots, and now he has the confidence to push this on his own to try to shut Thailand down. Gotta get one. Can't get the second. Escalisa stands strong.
16 kills, 1 versus 1. Here comes the final player. First flush comes through. Belmoth has to back over the rest. Can't come into it. Second one comes through. Soul has been alone for so long. That nade looks good, but backs off.
Oh, he doesn't have any more frags. He's going to have to get it done with the gun. He knows they still need to go for the flush. He knows he needs to get in there. Belmoth going to get the heal up. The rest. Thank you on very
very low health. Now Belmoth waiting around the vehicle. Soul, can he do it? Soul tries to peek, doesn't get the first shot. Oh, he's got it. Oh, it's JQ! Thailand's gonna do it!
And the crowd goes wild! Thailand with the win! Coming over the top, fighting team after team after team! Thailand wins the game and the crowd goes wild!
That's huge, it's huge. Big kills, big damage for Team Thailand. Confidence throughout all of it, and they just put up a 17 kill